Okay, excellent. So we're standing here with RJ. Now you've seen the retail component of it. You've seen the past behind us. You've listened to RJ talk about the market. But the really exciting stuff for high net worth individuals, sophisticated investors, is to get involved in the deal. Now for those of you out there, you know that if you buy in retail, you're going to get a good deal. As long as you hold it for 5 years, you're getting a good solid yield. But the real game here is what RJ is actually doing. RJ, tell us a little bit about this house. Like, what were the dynamics of this house?
This house here sold for close to $200,000 in 2007. I believe it was 2007. It's almost 3,000 square feet. It's got an architectural roof. It's in a very nice neighborhood. It needed work like every other house that we bought. We put approximately $16,000 into this house. After we acquired it, we paid $70,000. So we got an investment of about $86,000 in this house.
And what have you currently got it on the market for?
It's rented for $13.50. Tenants are moving in this weekend, and it's on the market, I believe, to investors. I think it's $115,000.
So I mean, just as a matter of interest, if I'd come in as a co-investor with you here, we're laughing at $1,350 a month on an 86 purchase price,
yep.
You know, in terms of where we are. So the downside is covered. If we get the upside, if we sell it for 115, which I think you are, there's investors coming from all over the world in terms of what you're looking at. You're looking at a serious return on investment, and quite quickly. What time frames are we looking at? How long did it take you to do a deal like this?
From start to finish and move it to investors?
Yeah.
Basically 30 days, 30 to 60 days. You know, it just all depends how fast the rehab goes, because we're rehabbing 10 to 20 houses a month. But typically we're moving, our inventory is changing all the time. And sometimes we like to keep it for a few months because our yield goes up. You know, in 3 months I've got 23, 26, $4,000 more. So a lot of times we'll hang on to stuff. I got stuff that we've hung on to over a year. I haven't even put it out in the market. It's just a very good safe rate of return for us as well.
But something that I've been fascinated at, I mean, we've looked at stuff. I mean, the lowest priced house was $23,000. We're looking at stuff here sort of around the $100,000 mark. You've spoken about two different types of products. You've spoken about the one that you always use the word, if I get it for a steal, it'd be fantastic, but I don't want to hold that long term. And then you've spoken about products like, I presume, this one, that, you know, if it's good and we want to hold it long term, well, that's great. Tell us just a little bit about the psychology behind that.
Well, here's my thought. Most of the investors that we're working with right now are sophisticated, whether they're coming from California, Canada, Singapore, China, Australia, New Zealand. They're coming from all walks of life, and today we got South Africa in here. On Wednesday, it's France. Okay, so when we educate the people to not buy the stuff at the bottom of the barrel, okay, and to buy stuff that we are very confident that the rate of return will be sustainable and predictable, as well as the upside will be there, these are the types of products that you should be looking for. But I really think that what Scott wants me to get into is a new model that we're unveiling. And that new model is simply this, and we just started doing this. And I used to do something along like this, and I've done about 50 deals like this, where I would have investors put up the money for the house and the rehab, and we would split the rent 50-50.
So in a house like this, just to put in perspective, you need $86,000.
$86,000, and then what we give you is the net rent for the first 2 years. You get all of it, so that your investment, you're in at my numbers, okay? And everything we do is transparent. It can easily be seen on closing statements with attorneys and all that other stuff. Same with the expenses. You're in at my numbers, and you keep all the rent for the first 2 years, except management fees, which never go away, 10%. And the manager gets a commission when he sells the house down the road, because he's never allowed to mark up a fee or service. So you get the net rent. On this house, it's probably going to be about $900 a month, so that's 900 times 10 is 9,000. Do it another time, so you got about 11. You got about 22 G's back in 2 years. Then we re-enter and we split the net rent and we split the upside based on what you got into it at that time. So 22 off of 86 is 64,000. When the house gets sold, you got the first 64,000. We split above that.
And what about if Joe Side comes along and buys it for 120 right now? So we end up not renting it, we sell it on, basically.
Say goodbye, it's gone.
So but we would go 50-50 on the upside, basically.
Absolutely.
So we pay off the initial 86 and then we go 50-50 on the upside.
Exactly. Unless we've collected rent in the meantime, we would deduct that, and then I would participate from that point forward. Investor always gets his money back first, because the most important thing to us, and I mean this, and I'm not kidding when I say it, is safety. Okay, 57, I don't want to lose any money. I know you guys don't want to lose any money. I think a lot of people have lost all the money they want to lose in the last few years in our country. I assume it's the same way in other places as well. So safety, 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 location, 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 are primary concerns.
Just on that basis, because I've been in the property game long enough to know you're only as good as the partners that you're dealing with. Tell us just a little bit more about yourself. 32 years in the industry. How many of these have you done? I mean, is this your first one and you're all really excited about it, or have you done this a couple of times before?
You caught me. You caught me. I've had many years where I've done over 100 houses. In fact, the first year that I got in business, I bought it wasn't the first year. It was when I really got serious. I said, well, I'll just try to buy 100 houses next year, and I bought 108. I've done thousands of transactions, literally thousands of real estate transactions, 12 different states in the country. And for you guys that aren't here, I can't even emphasize how important it is to stay away from states like New York, Massachusetts, California, where it's so liberal and everything favors a tenant. You can't get rid of them easily. It's very, very costly. You have to be in a pro-business state where they understand the basic premise of capitalism. This is the best place I've ever invested in my money. Atlanta, Georgia, right here.
But just to confirm though, you have been doing this for 32 years.
32 years.
So you've got experience all around the States, but you've done this multiple times. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the RJ, I'm sitting back in Johannesburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, Bloemfontein or Potchefstroom. It makes no difference. I do not know whether this is a good deal or not. I don't know what it can rent for. I don't know what it can refurb for. Ladies and gentlemen, we will show you some classic video footage, which is a bit like MIA or something with us running around. But I mean, we've kicked some doors down today. We've gone in, but you're dealing with a man who goes through a house in less than 60 seconds, and that's where 32 years worth of experience is. No, but I mean, you've got your systems, you're down pat, you know what you want, you've got a whole team of specialists behind you, and we got a list of I don't know, 90 homes there that you crossed at least 60 of them off before we even got out here. You've got a whole drive path that you're going around. There's an auction on Tuesday. You got 6 people that go to the auctions. You can't go to the best one, the most difficult one, you're bidding, etc., etc. There's a whole system here basically, and you need partners on the ground that have that type of experience to be able to extract value in this market.
Yeah, and that list was actually closer to 3,000 before we whittled it down to that end, before we scrubbed that list quite a few times. And it is important to you got to work with people that got experience in this business, because you don't want somebody to be learning this game with your money. Okay, you want somebody that's got his money in the game. It's been nicked, it's been bruised, things go wrong, things go bump in the night. But you're then able to make the distinctions, and you can really tell if something's a good opportunity or not very, very quickly. And that's probably one of my greatest traits in this business, is I can recognize an opportunity very, very quickly, faster than probably the next 10 guys. Maybe not you guys, but the next 10 Americans. How's that? But the truth is it's critical to be able to do that, and you got to be trigger happy, because if there's a good opportunity, it's gone like that. It really is. It's gone like that.
Which I think to reiterate, at the moment, it's cash and timing. You got to have the cash.
Yeah.
You got to be prepared to move fast. There's none of this rubbish that I'll send the money over from South Africa. It needs to be in bank accounts. It needs to be ready to go. And most importantly, from what I've picked up from, there needs to be trust. When you say push the trigger, it has to happen. There's no questions asked. Right. There's no send me photos, I'm not sure. That's rubbish. It's either in or out, basically.
You really got it, Scott. You're right on the money. And there was another point that I wanted to make, and that's simply this. If you're looking at an opportunity, and I don't care where it is or what it is, but if you need a calculator to see if it's a good deal, it's not a good deal. This has really become a common sense business. And there's so many guys that have sprouted up that look like us over the last few years. They don't have the experience. They don't have the stuff that went on so that they can make the distinctions and know what to do and how to do it, when to do it, and how to respond when a certain situation comes up. So, as Scott was saying, you really got to have somebody on the ground that's got his feet in the street, and that would absolutely be us.
We say in the street, we nearly got run over there.
We are on the street.
Excellent. RJ, thank you very much. It's been an absolute honor and privilege to travel around today. It's been a huge amount of fun. I will certainly be coming back, because we need to have that beer.
We may get one yet.
Yes. Cool.
Okay.